Hey yo, EasySMX sent out this M20 controller for this review. Doesn't change my thoughts. Test from testing reviews. Let's get into the video. So first of all, let's talk about the design. The design of the M20 controller really looks nice. Like they really tried in that aspect of it. The engineering is fantastic. It feels really good too. Doesn't have that chip feeling to it, which I really like. The buttons are really tactile. They're really nice to press. They're really nice to use. The triggers are fantastic. And the thumbsticks, most of all, they're really nice. Like they're smooth. They're easy to glide through, especially when turning in games like Asphalt or like especially Racing Master, games like Call of Duty, like they pretty much like fly, so which is really nice. So let's talk about the most like useful part of a controller, the ergonomics, right? Like how does it feel in the hand? It feels really nice. Like it's something that I say you have to like feel, you have to try to understand. If you understand what I'm trying to say there. But outside of that, like just like let's say it's one of the most used controllers I have right now. Like it's something I very rich for when opening the game. So that tells you enough about how the ergonomics feel like. They have like really nice grips at the back. So like they have this nice texture. So even when you're playing game for hours, they don't feel like they're gonna slip out of your fingers, if you understand what I'm trying to say. First of all, it has 1 millisecond response time, which does need you to turn on the 1000 Hz polling rate in the app, because the controller comes at the default 250 Hz, which is around I think 4-5 milliseconds, which to be honest, when you do go to 1 millisecond, something like wow, like I know 1 to 4 doesn't really seem like a lot, but in real life, like in real life, in gaming sessions, it does make a difference. I'm going back to 250, even 500 hertz does make a difference. So let's talk about the RGB, because as you can see here, this controller has RGB in especially in the XYAB buttons and also in the triangle or X box buttons. Talking about that one very soon. So as for the RGB, you can reduce the brightness in the app, as you can see, and you can just essentially turn it off or increase the brightness if you so wish for that. Me, I just leave it on. I just leave it on like a 75% and I'm good. As for the XYAB buttons to the triangle or X buttons, which is from Xbox to PlayStation mode, you need the screwdriver. I understand, you know, like what was the point of a screwdriver? You turn this screw right here and boom, you go straight to PlayStation mode or straight to Xbox mode, and the controller will vibrate to let you know that okay, yeah, the drivers has been changed. And you can see that even in games and even in the app to let you know that okay, yeah, you're going to PlayStation wired mode or Xbox wired mode, which to be honest, in games that do like require PlayStation mode, you can just do that. Or let's say okay, you're someone that does love the PlayStation layout, you can do that. For me, I just leave it on like Xbox mode, or in some games like NTE, I just go to PlayStation mode instead. So that's nice to have. And let's talk about the vibrations, because I did talk about that. So the vibrations, you don't need the app to do that. You can essentially reduce intensity or increase intensity. May I just leave it as default, because this controller has really nice vibrations. They have 2 vibration motors, one on the left and one on the right, so which is really nice in games like Call of Duty, because I know many controllers don't have vibrations, but the moment you use vibrations in games like Call of Duty, it does make a difference. The game feels more alive, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So it's really nice to have. And I also talked about Call of Duty just now. The one nice thing I love about this controller, like it has a lot of nice things, but the one thing I love so much that really caught my eyes is the fact that you can play Call of Duty with this controller, because there's so many controllers that are wired that you can play Call of Duty with. When they're wireless, you can do that, but when they're wired, no. But EasySMX found a way to figure that out, and I'm happy that this controller works great with Call of Duty. You don't even have to think about it, you just play like every other controller supported game and it works flawlessly. So let's talk about the other features. Like I said, triggers, because games, sound chancy, you're gonna be using the triggers a lot. So in games like PUBG, Call of Duty, Racing Master, Asphalt, you're gonna be using triggers heavily. You need Excel, right? And you need a tactile, you need an analog feedback, where like for tactile feedback, he has that mouse click effect. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So when you turn on the micro switches, you go to that mouse click effect, and when you switch back to the analog switches, you go to the, let's say, regular controller effect. That okay, in games like EasySMX that you need to accelerate, to brake, you can use the analog switches. And for games like shooters and like solo level device and like RPGs, then you can go for the tactile effect. Anyone that you feel like, do you. So let's talk about the other features, because well, like I said, I'll be talking about the app. How does the app work? How do you even get the app in the first place? When you unbox this controller, you see a card. You scan the QR code on that card, and boom, it takes you straight to the App Store on the iPhone, or it takes you straight to the website, or it takes you straight to the Google Play Store, whichever works for you. I just go straight to the App Store, download the app, create an account, so you can work as a guest, and the controller assembly links up with the app, and that's where you can do all the customization from there. Let's take a look at the app. As you can see, you have the account, you have the games, you have pretty much the controller icon right there. So from the controller icon, you click on it, and you pretty much can change the polling rate, the sleep timer, pretty much the RGB effect, and also update the firmware. I don't really touch the firmware on controllers. I just leave it the way it is, except like, okay, there's a feature, there's maybe a bug. That's the only time I touch that. So okay, let's talk about other things, right? Let's talk about other things like battery charging. How does that work? Because I mentioned battery charging in my 1 minute review. Battery charging works great. Because nowadays, let's be honest with ourselves, we can play game for as long as we want, but the issue is the fact that you run out of battery, and this ultimately kills that, right? So when the phone is plugged up to your controller, like you can just see the USB-C port up there. You plug it like to a USB-C cable with for a power bank or to the wall, and boom, your device is charging. I'm able to charge my iPhone at like 18 to 20 watts, which, to be honest, like charging the device in gaming is not going to be the fastest, but it does work. So it's something that I really enjoyed using. And even like, what about thermals? Because thermals is something that you can worry about, like playing these demanding games. How are you able to code the device? Because someone asked in the comment section on my last like first minute review, or will I say first impression video, what about the thermals? As you can see up there, the controller technically does block the logic board in the sense the place that like makes the most heat where the processor is. But the good thing about it is that there's a space up there, so can like essentially pass through passive cooling. So yeah, like where the camera housing is, as you can see right here, I did put a adhesive cooling plate on mine. It's a magnetic cooling plate for my K22 phone cooler, as you can see right here. So I just use that area to essentially use MagSafe with the cooler, and boom, I'm able to basically cool down the phone. I'm hoping in the future that EasySMX does release a controller that does have cooling capabilities, and also an accessory like a cooling accessory, which would be really nice. But let's get back into the video. So the controller does actually have two buttons on the back, as you can see, the macro 1 and macro 2. For me, I did set the macro 1 to be used as crouching, and actually the other one to be used as switching weapons in Call of Duty. Yes, they are customizable, like I just mentioned, in the sense of you can double tap for one action and also just tap it for another action. Like okay, you can set to crouch it one and do a double tap for jump with that same key, and then for the second key you can set to, let's say, okay, switch weapons, and then be able to pretty much do a melee, right, in Call of Duty, or for games like Racing Master, you can set to accelerate with M1 and set to brake with M2, right, or in games like Shadow Fight, set it to one action and set the other one to another action, so you understand the point. And then you're gonna be asking, okay, I can see another key on the front of the controller, a turbo key, and also that one, the home key. What do they do? The home key actually just like send you straight to the home, like the iPhone, the game app, on like Android, I really don't know what it does there. But for iPhone, it does send you straight to the game app, like the game overlay, or you can just like be able to launch other games from there. Why for the turbo key, it's really interesting what that one does. The turbo key actually does let you map actions. Like for games that I would keep using Call of Duty, because it feels like for Call of Duty and for like other shooters, this key was like really designed for it. Okay, you can tend to just set the turbo key to be like auto shoot, or like it just shoots for you. Like you can set it that, okay, yeah, you set the trigger and then you set the turbo key and it just keep like shooting for you as far as you have ammo. So which is something really nice, and yes, it can be turned off, so it's something that is there for you if you want to use it. So like I said in the first part of the video, is this controller worth it? Like, for the features it's offering, is it worth buying? Is it worth getting? Absolutely yes, it's worth getting. Because let's be honest, like there's no controller like this on the market that has all these features for this price. And like, okay, you're gonna be like, okay, you're glazing this controller. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be something that this controller doesn't have. You can have everything. You're right. The one con, to be honest, not a con for me, is gyro support. This controller doesn't have gyro, but if you're someone that does want that, this controller sadly doesn't have that. But for me, it's not a con because I really don't play games with gyro support. So as of that, that's the only thing that I would say that is a con for me. But aside of that, every other thing works great. It's absolutely a game changer, and it's absolutely something that I would love to get for my loved ones and for myself. So if you want to get this controller, links are in the description with this sweet coupon code. Remember to like this video, hype this video, subscribe and share. So comment down below your thoughts. What any questions you have about this controller. Catch you guys in the next one. Love every single one of you. Peace.